This is the Automotive Repair Podcast Network.
Hey everybody, Carm Capriotto, Remarkable Results Radio, and another Town Hall Academy. So good to see you all. Do I have a podcast episode for you? Really, really do. We're going to talk a lot about focusing on the business case for women in the auto industry. We're going to highlight their superior communication, multitasking, and leadership skills, because they do have that. Women excel as service advisors, driving higher ARO, we know, and building trust with 80% of the female customer base who control household repair decisions, believe it or not. So good to have you here. Hey, look, we've got our app out, and it's rocking and rolling, and it's absolutely 100% free. It's for your smartphone, the ultimate professional automotive repair podcast playlist. Save favorites, watch video, and listen to audio. Automotive Repair Podcast Network.com/app app. We'll be at Vision this year. Tracy's doing a class. I'm doing a class. We'll have our studio there. Full throttle 2026 Vision High Tech Training and Expo. Please go and register if you haven't. It's one of the, if not the biggest show. And if you're watching this on YouTube, love you very much. Appreciate it. Please subscribe. Here's a very quick and easy message from our sponsors. Hey, did you know that NAPA Tracks has on-site training plus 6 days a week support? It all starts when a local representative meets with you to learn about your business and how you run it. After all, it's your shop, so it's your choice. Let us prove to you that Trax is the single best shop management system in the business. Find NAPA Trax on the web at napatracs.com. Hey, how well does your team know their stuff? Test their automotive skills with the Today's Class Basic, Advanced, or Service Advisor quizzes. It's a quick, effective way to spot gaps and grow stronger teams. Take the quizzes now at todaysclass.com/TC quiz. Shop owners, stop juggling multiple marketing tools. KUKUI's integrated platform, they deliver 4 times better website conversions, automated follow-up, and real-time ROI tracking. Get industry-leading customer support with KUKUI. That's KUKUI.com. You're probably tired of chasing new customers who never return. We understand. Pit Crew Loyalty ends the one-and-done cycle, turning first visits into lasting, reliable revenue. On the web at pitcrewloyalty.com. Hey, welcome back, everyone. Let me introduce my great woman panel. Excited about this. Amy Bartel from Bartel's Auto. Hello, Amy.
Hello, hello. Thank you for having me.
Good to have you here. Sara Abrecht is here, CFO, Dynamic Automotive, 7 locations out in the great state of Maryland. Have you gone to Virginia yet?
I have been to Virginia, but we're not going to Virginia yet. We'll see.
You stay in Maryland. Very good. I know your ownership team very, very well. Great friends. Melissa Parker's here from Harold's Auto. Hello, Melissa.
Hello again, Carm.
In fact, I think you're the current CFO. And have you transitioned to the COO yet?
No, but that'll happen this year.
It'll happen this year. Well, you ladies are absolutely 100% dialed in. And look, here's a question for you all. And please chime in at any time, ladies. And I don't have one particular lady that I'd ask this to. Are women more effective communicators, relationship builders, which ultimately could and can reflect on the relationships we have on our counters?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we pride ourselves in auto hospitality. That's what I train my guys on a regular basis is, auto repair is just our product, but what we're selling is the customer experience. We're selling auto hospitality. We're selling that 5-star experience to the customer, making them want to come back. And how do you do that? You build relationships. I don't even have to talk to about the car to our customers. I'm talking about their life, their children, their hobbies, what they enjoy doing in their free time. It's building that rapport, building that foundation that's most important. And I do think that as women, we are in tune to that more often. We pay attention to the details. We notice a beautiful necklace, some really cool glasses, or a bumper sticker on a car. So being able to have that attention to detail to then build that relationship is huge.
You just hit me up over the head. So if I was a male service advisor and a woman walked in with a beautiful necklace, I would probably not want to say anything.
That's very true. Absolutely. And the men do walk a fine line, right? You walk a fine line of, am I giving a compliment? And is this going to be perceived as a compliment? Or is this going to cross the line? So as a woman, I do think for woman to woman, it is a lot easier to have those candid conversations and to just give a compliment and go, that's a beautiful dress. Where'd you get that one? So it's a different relationship.
So a guy's not going to go out and say, hey, did you get that at Macy's?
I don't know. Some guys may. Don't discount them.
Who was shaking their head? Melissa, I think you were shaking your head listening to Amy.
I think we just naturally think about those things, like the bumper sticker. Is there a car seat in the back car? Stuff like that. Like, what are they using this vehicle for? I think women are just naturally more curious and more naturally in tune to asking those questions, right? Like, they're going to do it on their own without, I think it's just a more natural, automotive hospitality. I think women just naturally are asking those questions, diving into their customers, and that's just, the first, step in, women in automotive, right? For, our whole podcast. That's just our natural inclination and how we deal with customers.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what I was actually also thinking of when I was having a conversation with our team members about the cleanliness of our lobby. And it's also something that when you speak of auto hospitality and wanting to make sure that the presentation you're giving to the customer is not only great from a customer service level, but for the customer experience level, how beautiful is my lobby? How clean is my bathroom? How, does it look like you're walking into an auto repair shop, or does it look like you're walking into the lobby of a hotel, the lobby of, into my home, into my living room? Because that's what I'm going for, right? And I think that, again, as a woman, you pay attention to more of that detail of, I need a plant in that corner to make it look more homey. You know what I mean? We just tend to have that more often than men do. We pay attention to those details more often than men do. So having that woman's touch in the auto repair world is a whole different ballgame. It brings in definitely a different level of attention to detail.
Especially in a male-dominated field.
Absolutely.
I think that just separates because we're just naturally looking at it more, my number one thing is the bathroom clean?
Always.
And if the bathroom's clean, I'm happy. And so I feel like we just naturally do a better job of that. And I would say, bare minimum, 50% of our customer base is female. So I feel like woman to woman, it just builds that trust naturally too, So I would say it's probably higher than 50% of our customer bases of the ones that are bringing the vehicles in, making these decisions, especially where I'm in a military market in the majority of our locations, right? And these guys are, PCS, they're overseas and they can't make these decisions. So it really is women forward. I was looking at our statistics before we got on here, and I was like, oh gosh, what is our female ratio? Is that our secret sauce that I didn't even know about? We have, besides myself as the COO, we have another woman on our leadership team, and of our 10 locations, we have 3 female store managers, 3 assistant store managers that are female, and I think it's 40% of our service advisor staff is female, which I think is very high and should be higher. But I think it's incredible. And I think it's a real testament to the automotive hospitality, like you were saying, Amy. It's incredible.
The only thing I'd add is the smell. I've had comments from customers on Google. They're like, your shop doesn't smell like a shop.
Yes.
It smells good when I walk in. I don't think they smell it anymore. Gear oil, that's one of my least favorite smells. It's they don't even notice perfume to them. And I love the Google reviews that are oh my gosh, it smells good and it's clean. I wasn't expecting this experience. Yeah. And another thing I've noticed up at the front, when someone walks in, I'm like, hi, how are you doing today? It's, and I'm just talking to them. Where some of the male counterparts that work here, they walk in the door and they're like, hi, how can I help you? I'm like, whoa. welcome. How's your day going? Like they straight to the point. Let's get this over with. Like where I'm just having a conversation.
Wait a minute, ladies. Can't you sit down with your male service advisors and say, when you speak to your wife, what makes her happy? You know, you just can't be you when you come in at the end of the day. You got to be a little of her if you want her to make you a decent dinner. I'm being sexist here, maybe. But there's got to be a way. It's brilliant. You don't talk to your wife like that, do you? Wouldn't that be perfect to say?
Well,
I like that. I'm going to use that.
Too. I think men naturally want to fix things too, versus like, I don't know if you've heard those kind of quotes, like if your wife or your friend, your significant other is having a hard time. It's like, do you need me to listen or do you need me to offer solutions? And 9 times out of 10, it's, I just need you to listen. You know what I mean? And so I think but men, their natural inclination is to, I'm going to give you solutions and try to fix it.
We've got a ton of service advisor training out there, which I believe is one of the most important in our industry today. And I wonder if there's a little side hustle going on inside of these formatted service advisor trainings, specifically for our men out there. And I'm not talking about a soft touch. I'm just talking about letting them empathize with, as I'm hearing, this is how you really need to talk to a lady.
I think they need more of like a social psychology class. They don't read body language very well. Like there are things I'm always watching. I've got cameras. I'm always listening and coaching on the backside. And I think just like a social psych class might do them some good to start reading intuition. If a lady steps back from you, you don't step towards her. She's stepping away for a reason. Like meet on eye level. If she's sitting, you should be sitting. Like they're standing, towering over them. And I'm like, stop. That's intimidating behavior. I think you would have to start at the basics and rewiring a little, maybe.
That is powerful.
Yeah. And even to kind of go along with that, and I think this is just something in human nature in general, not gender specific, but I think so often when we're going through the process and the sales process, we forget to actively listen. And we know what our next script is. We know what our next move is, right? I mean, the industry is very predictable. Sales are very predictable. You know what objections you're going to get, but you're always on the defense waiting for that next cue instead of actively listening to, well, what really was the objection here? What really is, the obstacle in getting this vehicle repaired? She's not saying no, or he's not saying no because they don't have the money, and not now doesn't mean I don't have the money. It could mean also I don't have the transportation, So instead of asking more questions and being more of an active listener is, I think, sometimes also the biggest hurdle is that we're just going through the motions instead of really listening to our customers.
I agree. I also think this is an interesting idea that, like, I think our industry and, independent automotive repair, even in dealerships, a lot of those people that are service advisors or have been service advisors or, communicating with customers, like they were techs at one point too, which is mostly male, and it's like a natural like progression for them, because that's a very physically demanding job. Right. And so I think that it's interesting as they, come over, just because they have a lot of car knowledge doesn't necessarily make them a good salesperson or a good person on the counter. Not that they don't have value, but maybe not in that seat. And I think that the three of us, we are, I wasn't personally a technician, growing up in this. And so I think it's interesting that like, as we like shift our focus to trying to, hire some more sales focused people, they might not necessarily be in the industry as well, whether it's a CSR or anything like that. I think that's interesting too, because we've done several acquisitions and the service advisors were the technicians. They were doing everything. They were in the back, and maybe not as much now recently, but acquisitions we were doing 5 years ago, like it was like, who's selling the work? The technician. It's like, there's pros to that obviously too, but we want technicians doing what actually generates money, which is fixing cars. Fix
the car, right? Yeah. That's a really good point, Melissa. And that's why we have been now hiring outside of the industry purposefully. And specifically, out of restaurants. I have one of my best customer service individuals. He knows nothing about cars, absolutely nothing about cars. He works the front counter and he is pure hospitality because he comes from the restaurant industry. He was, I think, an assistant manager, and then I was a bartender, assistant manager. And I said, I don't need you to know anything about cars. I got guys in the back who can fix the cars. I just need you to build relationships with my customers and make them feel at home and welcome. And so we found a lot of restaurant guys and gals that are really helpful.
Okay, let's stop for a moment and ask what our listener wants to know is, where are you finding them? Is it Indeed, or are you writing specific ads, or do you carry business cards with you when you go to restaurants?
Business cards in person. Here's the thing that I've learned about Indeed. And I think the most important thing about Indeed is that you can get great names and great individuals off Indeed, but they're not going to be the A players that we want on our team because they're looking for a job either because they don't have a job or, I mean, some people on Indeed are currently employed somewhere, so those can be good ones as well. But a lot of them currently don't have a job. I want somebody who is actively working, who loves their job, who loves where they are, so I can go and sell the dream of I can provide you with the best opportunity for generational wealth and help you grow within this industry with my family. I want to go sell them the dream. So I have found that everybody that I have employed were happy in their jobs, were happy where they were, and it took me selling the dream to get them to come over. And those are my A players. Those are the ones that show up and want to learn the concept and are passion driven and have a high sense of agency. Those are the ones that really join the NFL team and join us on the next level.
I will say for Indeed, though, like we've shifted. I think we've attracted some more females because you see automotive as service advisor. It sounds like a really seasoned position in a seasoned industry. And it's like, I don't know anything about cars, you know? And so I think we've shifted and how we are recruiting. And I think it just naturally is attracting more women because it's just kind of removes that barrier, you know, doing like a CSR focus versus a service advisor, just a sales position, you know, and women are naturally better at sales anyway. And, you know, think about sales across any other industry, it's women. I totally agree with you, Amy. Like we're going out and we're trying to find those people and actively recruit, but you also have those things kind of going on in the background. And we've changed that and we've had some really good success with it.
Yeah, I agree with what Melissa said in making those adjustments. Techs do make great estimators. And we've already started shifting what we're doing here and having your front counter people be customer service reps. They don't need to know. They just need to be able to ask the right questions and answer the right questions. And having those technicians that are, you know, phasing out of technician life as an estimator, they're great at looking at parts. They're great at knowing what labors are, not so great talking to people. So pass that off to someone else, have that person do that sale. That's something that we've been currently working on, you know, restructuring how we are doing what we're doing. Because just because you're a phenomenal writer doesn't mean you're a phenomenal salesperson.
Yeah, we kind of fell away from having CSRs for a bit, and we're just kind of falling back into it. The purpose of us having ventured away from CSR was the disconnect of building that rapport and having that foundational relationship with the customer. At one point, you know, it felt like a disconnect that I had the CSR, then gathering all the information, building that relationship. And then I have a service advisor calling to make a sale. And it didn't feel like that relationship translated. It didn't feel like it felt then more salesy just to hear from the service advisor and to not actually continue on that relationship that was built when they first walked in. So we did do away with our CSR for a bit, and we've just recently brought that position back to one of our locations. The biggest change and the biggest shift that we've seen is we've now kind of enmeshed that position with the service advisor position in the sense of, you know, we have that CSR giving shop tours in the facility. So they're bringing the customer back. They're introducing a customer to all of our service advisors and go, you know, you may end up working with Steve. You may end up working with Tyler. They're all saying hello. They're all waving, shaking hands. They meet all the technicians, just breaking down all of those barriers. So now the customer, the CSR is basically served as this bridge for the customer into the next position of the sales happening. Yeah. And it's actually been really helpful. We've seen great success with it. So we're probably going to start venturing towards having CSR at our other two locations just on how well it's worked in our Oswego location with, again, the restaurant came in and has just really laid the hospitality thick, and it's been wonderful.
We have great friends out in Ohio, Bill Hill, Leanne Best, and they have got the greatest CSR on their counter. And they have got this, your name is on a board when you come in. And there, of course, is the candy bowl and the kit for the kids, and she's the most bubbly thing in the entire world. And you just feel like you're part of the family. The estimators are sitting in the back in this cubicle inside the shop doing all the heavy lifting. She sets the tone and she builds the relationship. I have to go back to something you talked about a few minutes ago, which prompted me to remind myself about episodes we've done about, is your bathroom as good as the Ritz? And, we've done episodes on that. We have gone to the point where it doesn't matter, owner or anyone. The owner says, I'll clean the bathroom. If it doesn't come up to standards, no matter what time of day that I come in, I want to lead and show people how important that is. And we've also done episodes on aromatherapy. I'm trying to remember one of the stores that my wife adored, only because in the walk-in lobby of the store in the mall, it smelled so good. I just got to pass by. I got to walk in and smell. So.
Yes, because scents affect your mood. It's so true. It is so true. I mean, I can be in the worst mood, smell something good. Now, okay, I feel a lot lighter. I feel happier. Scents are huge. I totally agree.
So, okay, we got our ladies on our counter. They're obviously must be aware of the marketing that's being done to try to bring people in. Are they charged with understanding what's going on and what's coming in order to keep them? Because the story goes, and I've heard this stat actually a couple of times in the last 3 weeks, 70% of the phone calls that come in, people want to do business with you. And we on our counter turn that off because we don't know how to handle it.
We do phone script training with all of our employees. So we use the anytime presentation with every single one of our employees, and they're obligated to memorize, make it second nature, make it part of their subconscious that every time that phone rings, we do anything and everything it takes to get that customer in, whether they're asking for a price on a repair or whether they're just asking if we have an appointment available. Yes is always the answer. Doesn't matter the question, yes is the answer. We do extensive training, daily training on those phone skills because we can spend all the money in advertising we want to get that phone to ring, but it means nothing if we're not getting that car into the shop. So absolutely, anytime script, I would say, is our number one most important tool.
I agree. It's people not realizing that they're saying no. It's that conditional yes, right? Hi, can I come in and get my brakes checked out at 4:00? Oh, yeah, but, like my guys leave, and it's like, that's a no, even though you
absolutely
said yes. And so it's like shifting that. And it's just, that's why scripts are so important. And it just takes the thinking out of it. And it just keeps it top of mind. Unbelievable how much you don't realize how much you're saying no, even though you technically the words yes are coming out of your mouth.
Yeah, absolutely. Even something as simple as, I'd like to schedule an oil change for Saturday. Well, is now a good time? I don't want to give them even the opportunity to change their mind and go somewhere else or whatever the case may be from now until Saturday. Just always offering the sense of urgency, creating that VIP experience by making them feel so important. You called me and I want to help you right now. That's how important your phone call is to me. So not Saturday, now.
Boy, that is so powerful. It happened to me recently. I was a recall for a doctor and I said, listen, I can't make that thing, but she said, would you like to come in today? And that sense of urgency that I didn't have, but they found an open and an opportunity, it made me feel, try to get an appointment with a doctor, right? It's like, whoa, could I possibly be, the governor of the state? I felt that important, even though it didn't work for me. I loved the point.
And exactly, like how important did that make you feel in the moment? And you never anticipated it, right? And I think that that's the thing that catches most customers off guard is they're not anticipating the come on in right now. I'll take care of you right now. They are anticipating it's going to be weeks out. It's going to be a week out. You don't have time today. And to just create that VIP, you are that important. You called me today. You called me for help and I'm here to help you right now is so huge.
Here's my takeaway. Don't make it a chore to do business with us.
Right. Absolutely.
Right. And know your numbers. That's another one I always tell. Every missed phone call and every lost lead, like $863 to get the phone to ring for a new customer. So there's $863 down the drain. What's your ARO? $800. There's another $800 down the drain. Like just double everything because you lost that opportunity. And now you have to get two more to make up for that one. Even if it wasn't a no, like Melissa said and Amy said, like absolutely yes. That is the only answer you are allowed to respond with. Get them in the door.
Let's face it, your shop management system is the single most important tool in your shop, period. NAPA Trax was built from the ground up to make your business more profitable and efficient. We provide an extensive set of tools to increase and track profitability in real time. NAPA Trax offers the industry's best post-sale support, hands down, and we train your people on site. Yep, on site. And we offer remote refresher training 10 times a week, and customer support is open 6 days a week. Give us a call, visit the website, or join our Facebook community today to learn more. We'll prove to you that Trax is the single best shop management system in the business. NAPA Trax is always customized and tailored for you, whether you're a one-man shop or a large multi-bay or multi-location company. After all, it's your shop, so it's your choice. Visit us on the web at NAPATRAX, that's NAPATRACS.com. Hey, want to test your team's knowledge? Well, today's class quizzes show how much your techs and advisors really know, so you can train smarter and build a stronger, more efficient team. Whether it's the basic quiz, perfect for all techs to test their foundational knowledge, the advanced quiz, built for experienced technicians ready to dive into complex topics, or the service advisor quiz, focused on communication and customer service. Now, each one gives your team a clearer view of what they know and where they can grow. Take the quizzes now at todaysclass.com/TC quiz. Shop owners, we know you are overwhelmed with a flood of missed calls, empty bays, and disconnected marketing tools. KUKUI has spent over a decade building one integrated platform for auto repair shops, one login, one dashboard, and mobile-first websites that convert 4 times industry average. Smart, innovative CRM with automated follow-up, 24/7 online booking, and real-time ROI tracking. With 900-plus years of combined team experience, we fuel the growth of 2,200-plus shops and have influenced $3 billion in revenue. Stop working harder. Start working smarter. Get industry-leading customer support and book a demo with KUKUI. That's KUKUI.com. You know, most shop owners feel trapped spending on ads while half their first-time customers never come back. It's frustrating. It's exhausting. And it's not your fault. The industry average is 54% one and dones. We understand how discouraging that can be. Well, Pit Crew Loyalty changes the story. Our clients cut that rate by up to 38%, raising lifetime value by more than 50%. Loyalty members visit nearly 3 times more often, creating predictable revenue without extra ad spend. Pit Crew Loyalty, where customers stay and shops thrive. On the web at pitcrewloyalty.com. Okay, ladies, let's cover the elephant in the room. Are you sharing numbers with your people? Do they have particular goals? You know, you say ARO. Do they know what it means and how it works and how it develops? And my wife's not good with numbers. There's a feeling that we have the lovey and the soft version of trust and family and relationships, but they don't get the number side. And that's got to be wrong.
Yeah, you got to be transparent with numbers. Absolutely. I share all of our numbers with our staff. I will bring in a P&L and show them last month's numbers and the good, bad, and ugly. And, I'll show them, how much I'm spending on advertising. I'll show them how much went to the bottom line. I think the more that your staff know what you're spending and how you're spending your money and what every dollar means, the more buy-in you get from them, the more they understand that, just because we had a $500K month, that doesn't mean that we took $500K to the bank, and I think that numbers are really important that a lot of people don't understand. And so we teach them. I bring them in P&Ls and I show them exactly, and I teach them that this is what it costs to run the business. And this is why I need your top tier A-player execution. I think it's super important. We're just as transparent with our customers as I will be with my employees. Absolutely. That is the name of the game. That's the integrity.
Okay. Can you see a difference between growth in ARO or the size ticket between the guys and the ladies?
I actually have my stats right here.
Yes, Sarah.
Oh, I landed perfect, Sarah.
Of course she does.
I got it. Yeah.
I love it.
So we have 7 stores. 3 are ran by females. 3 ran by males, or I should say 4-ish. And we've got a team of a female and a male that run one store. So that one's hard to cut in half. But my top 3 stores for ARO and hours per RO are all female led. All of my females, their AROs are $191.17 more per ticket, and hours per RO is 0.72 more per ticket. I did an average of the last 5 years for good data, and I'm looking at 617.05 as an average for my top 3 female-led shops. And my male-led shops, 425.88 is their ARO. That is a huge difference. And then hours per RO, 2.25, and below that at 1.53. I'm a big KPIs and P&L sharer with everyone on our teams. I love industry standards and having those information for everyone. We all know 2.5. So 2.25, they're right at that cusp of pushing that level. So it's irresputable. You're looking at hard, cold facts.
I just pulled mine because you said that, Sarah, and I looked and it was like total invoiced for last month, and I think this goes not just to sales. My top 3 were women for last month. And I think that really goes towards our ability to multitask, just, since we're on a women podcast. I think operationally, I just think we are much more capable naturally. I'm not saying, men can't do it. I'm not trying to say they can't. I'm just saying we just naturally do those things already where we're, multitasking all of these things. And I just think that I think women handle the volume of it a lot more, which is why Amy and Sarah and I on like a management level, like we're wearing so many hats, you know what I mean? And I think it's just because women are naturally better multitaskers.
Every time I listen to the episodes that, of course, I host, I'm always so into it, heavy into it. And I'm looking for a theme, maybe a possible title of the episode as we discuss this. I figured it out. I wrote it down. I think you're going to like it. Ladies are our secret weapon.
Yeah. I like it.
Don't you think a whole bunch of guys be looking at this? I think I may have to listen to that. I may have to watch that.
It's sad that like in this industry, I sat in a room and I asked, why don't you have more female service advisors? And they told me that women are, we've been talking about all the positives, but like it was painted in a negative light. Women are distractions for the men, which, is not true. Women are emotional, and sure, so are men. Like it's wild to me. And so I just think it is a secret sauce. And you would think, more people would tap into this more. Why is it a secret? I think is the real question.
I think she brought up a really important point. I'd love to go deeper on, the whole thing of distractions and emotion. What else, ladies, do we look inside the shop is that the dynamic isn't right. And that's why, it's got to be an all male group. I've done some females before and it didn't quite work. Well, there's probably circumstances involved in all of that, especially if you're so darn happy and you've got the stats to prove it.
This is probably 15 years ago. We were interviewing a tech gentleman, and one of the owners was like, Sarah runs this shop. Like, would you be able to work for her? And he said, absolutely not. I refuse to work for a woman. And he walked out. Yeah. I was like, okay, bye. Like, see you later. I have a female technician here at my location. Everybody works together great. If you have a toxic environment, it's probably a toxic person that's making it that way because they're old school or they were raised differently. There's some underlying thing that's happening. All of my teams are absolutely amazing. I've had female leads move from one to another and bring a team from toxic to all bound together and absolutely amazing. I don't want to say it's old school because I think some younger people still have it in them as well. But I think it's an old school mentality that we should be in. At one of our stores, someone told me I should be in Bible study or sewing circle and I shouldn't be at work. I was like, whoa. Oh, that was 2 years ago. 2 years ago.
2026, it's really wild that like those are the things. I'm a firm believer you can have your cake and eat it too in this instance, right? I'm married. I have 2 sons. I have 2 boy dogs. Like I thrive in a male environment, but I am also actively like trying to surround myself with like women because I think we are what you said, Sarah, like we are the culture drivers, right? And I'm not saying that every woman is going to be a fantastic asset or fit your culture, right? But I think when you do have somebody that fits in your culture and knows what they're doing, that they are the culture driver of your shop and they're your biggest advocate. You know what I mean? I don't know why it's a secret, Carm, but it is a secret sauce, I think, for the three of us at very least.
I love when you said you dodged a bullet by saying, could you work for a woman? And you just literally, you could have lost that store had you not in an interview process say to someone, by the way, let me give you the outline of our leadership team here. We have Sally, who's our manager. And if all of a sudden the person does that, looks at you shocked and nerved, you've just gotten the signal that this opportunity, it seems, to have done this podcast or doing this podcast about ladies is to open the eyes of our industry just a little wider. I think we see the amount of females that are coming in as clients, and maybe we're not necessarily stopping to say as leaders, I think I need to put a female on my counter because of this, because it is a tough, I can't imagine you're a zero female shop. You see all these females, 55, 60% of them coming in, living life, multitasking, doing all this stuff. And all of a sudden, I've got to stop and find a female for my counter. The next hire I make, it's almost like pushing the rock up the hill. And I'm not trying to be sexist here, but a lot of established owners, I'm not even sure that they could make that heavy lift.
I think they need to, though, because if they don't, even when you have couples coming in, most of the time it's 80% of the women that are making the calls. They're balancing the checkbooks. They're running the homes. I don't know about you all, but my husband has no idea what's happening or what's on the grocery list. Like he's just bebopping through life. I'm the one, making all the decisions and getting everything done. And I think even if the guys are coming in here, they're like, well, let me call my wife first and make sure we have enough money for this, or if it's okay, or I might need to pick Johnny up from school. I don't know until she tells me. If you just listen. We're going back to, I think, what Melissa or Amy said. If you just listen to what is being said, it is loud and clear what is being said.
Well, I think it's just women's natural ability. Like, I love my husband. He's super supportive and super involved in our home life. And I'm not trying to, diss him, but I say this with a couple of my girlfriends all the time. Can you imagine how successful I would be if I had a wife at home?
Oh my gosh, I talk about this all the time.
Oh my God.
Like, I just need a sister wife to, we would just rule the world. Life would be so much easier.
It's not meant to say, dog on my husband by women.
Right.
But it's really just like, women are incredible. Oh, I wish I had a wife at home.
I second that too, 100%. I would be world domination. Nothing would be slowing me down. I get it all the time because they're like, oh, Sarah, like we have this event this night and this event this night. I'm like, I have to do the laundry. They're like, what? And I'm like, I get that your wife takes care of everything at home. Like I'm the wife at home as well. So I got to go do the things.
It sounds, full-time job, heavy into a difficult job to be on our counter in automotive and still balance soccer momming and laundry. I mean, let's make an assumption that there's a lot of husbands that are helping out a lot more so that the wife can have a really good, strong, lifelong job. Is that going out more than we really know?
Absolutely. I mean, husbands in 1950, they didn't change diapers. They didn't do any of that. And I'm not saying that, there is a certain, division of labor, I think, between, men and women. But it's also division of, conquer what you're good at, right? Like for me in my home, I'm good at, managing the money and, schedules. And so I think women are just natural. It just goes back to why they're maybe writing more tickets, right? Just natural multitaskers. You know what I mean? And so I think the world is completely different than it was, from, 1950 to, now traditional, housewife, women didn't work then really, unless they had to. And what's it going to be in, 2050, probably completely different than it is today, which I think is incredible too.
I think about what it would be like in 30, 35, 45, 50, those years down the road. And it scares me a little bit. And it's not that it scares me because I would be afraid to walk down that aisle toward these, future days that we have. it scares me to think what it would look like. And again, let's go back to the 50s and 60s and the 70s and the 80s. Every decade had its own thing going on. And I'm trying to figure out what the 2020s are going to look like, because there's a lot of junk going on out there. But let's just kind of wrap this up in one particular way. What do we tell young women about this industry and this particular job, be it a CSR or a service advisor's role or job? And let's hope we can take this episode, push it down maybe into some educational think tanks and say, hey, listen, this automotive field, first of all, it's a high-tech field when it comes to specialist technicians working with their hands and computers and all of that and diagnostics. Some people are built just to give me the problem, I want to fix it. Not like just doing a brake job from years ago. So give me the problem, I want to fix it. And our counters are all about relationships and trust and the things that, as we are saying in this episode, you've made a point of how powerful the ladies are in that role. What do we tell our young people?
Automotive and I think trades in general are not being pushed in schools, and the opportunity to make an incredible living and come up, if you have just an ounce of drive and willing to learn, like this is an extremely lucrative career, extremely rewarding. It's a hard industry to be in, don't get me wrong, but I think we push on young people, like you either have to go to college or, join the army, and like the trades in general, are just kind of an afterthought. I think just pushing out that like, this is a really good living in any trade service-based industry, and the opportunity, especially because the supply for it is so low, right? Like the opportunity for it is just incredible. And it doesn't matter if you are a technician working with your hands, or maybe you're, that bubbly bartender that wants to transition from working nights to just working during the day, like you're a great communicator and you've got great people skills. Like there's a place for everybody. It's really attractive, and as a female, Sarah and I, we were at a conference last month, and, the line for the men's room was out the door. The women's room, there was 3 of us in there. It was fantastic. Like, come on, guys. You could rule the world.
Yeah, join us, right?
You can have your own meeting in there. Sarah, your perspective to young people, Sarah.
Across the board, just communication and people skills. Definitely see a shift in, service-based industry in the United States moving forward as, trends are showing. You need to be able to communicate, whether internally or externally. They need to learn how to talk on the phone and communicate, especially those younger ones, having a 17-year-old who doesn't even like to pick up the phone because it's scary. Really work on your people and communication skills, because you could land anywhere. Like Melissa and Amy are saying, you can come run my front counter I was a hairstylist. Look at me now. Like, learn how to talk to people, learn how to listen, and be open and happy, and choose joy every single day, even though it's hard. You will shine through.
Before I get to you, Amy, I got to make a comment on what Melissa said about skilled trades. And part of my whole language shift in improving the professionalism of our industry is not to call ourselves skilled trades, but having skilled careers. Yeah, think about that. Think about the schools that the kids can go to learn everything from hairdressing to veterinary school to, woodworking and electrical and automotive. And these centers say that they're skilled trades. We have been so schooled with over all these years as our parents, it's just a trade. It's such a trade. I need you to be a professional. I'm sorry, we are professional. You guys exemplify what professional automotive repair is all about. And if you're going to go to school for anything, to everyone's point here, the kind of income that could be made with the right top-tier shop who cares about their people, who wants to pay them and have them be part of the goals and the KPIs. And we take some of that wealth home with you because, we've got it. We all earned it together to find those kinds of shops. And someone would ultimately say, if they were CSRs, service advisors at your store, is that I don't have a trade. I'm in a career. In front of shop and back of shop, it's a career that's going on, the responsibility that you have for people. So I can't say that enough, that we sometimes say the wrong things at our counter and we flop all these acronyms everywhere, and the client doesn't have a clue what we're talking about. We don't want to be up there. We want to be down here in the real world of, let me just take care of you, Mrs. Smith. That's a beautiful dress from Macy's.
Exactly.
Amy, your last word.
No, that's so funny you said that, Carm, because that's exactly what I was thinking, is that in what I wanted to mention is that it's so often that people think of the auto industry as this dirty industry, right? The industry has such a bad rap and has such a bad name to it. And unfortunately, there's still those shops out there that don't help us to change that. But I think that the coolest part about this industry is there is a place for everybody. You know, whether you are that outgoing person who likes to build relationships with people and you are going to be great in sales and you can succeed at this, or if you don't like to talk to people, but you love to tinker and take things apart and put them back together. I mean, the opportunities that exist in this industry are just so far reaching and so under discussed and under talked about that I just think it falls short on so many people. I mean, I can't tell you how often people ask me what I do, you know, at my kids' school or whatnot. And, oh, I'm in auto hospitality. You're in what? And that's how I'm framing it, because that's what I want to change. This auto industry has such a bad name. I want it to be the auto hospitality industry. And I think that that makes it seem so much bigger and greater than just talking about auto repair. It puts that shiny star on it that it should have on it. Because think about it. No one's going anywhere without us. Y'all need your car. So we are that important. We are that critical to day-to-day operations for every family out there. So why not wear it with a badge of honor and talk about how this is one of the most lucrative careers you will ever have? So I speak so highly to what you said, Carm. It just makes all the sense in the world. And we got to change the rap it has. That's for sure.
Change the rap. Damn, I got to get a beat going with that. I love that, Amy. That was great. Amy Bartel, Melissa Parker, Sara Abrecht. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. This was great. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Carm.
Thank you.
Thanks for being on board to listen and learn from the premier automotive repair business podcast, Remarkable Results Radio. Get your episodic education on the ARPN listening app at automotiverepairpodcastnetwork.com. Also enjoy the podcast on our Carm Capriotto YouTube channel. Carm is all for advancing the professional automotive service industry. Until next time.